Today we're going to talk a bit about leadership, a bit about Evergreen's story, a bit about my story, but also some core elements that I feel that we've implemented throughout our chapter from the growth of 13 to 60. Now, I just wanted to ask, hands up if you've heard of the Chinese bamboo tree story before. That's good. It's good to see some hands up high. For those of you that haven't heard the Chinese bamboo tree story, it's a story of faith, perseverance, patience, but most importantly, setting solid foundations for future growth and beyond. And that story is kind of fitting to where Evergreen was and where it was going, and also my personal journey as well. Now, it all starts with planting the seed. Seeds in here, seeds planted. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my story and the journey that I did when I planted the seed, and the seed was planted of BNI. So my introduction to BNI was around 6 years ago, and at that time, I knew nothing about networking. I knew nothing about BNI. I knew nothing about the platform. I was called by my sister-in-law and she said, I'm trying to get into this networking thing, come meet some people, we're trying to launch a chapter in Leaderville. For me, I just said, no worries, I'll come check it out. I went and saw this launch chapter and I had my eyes open to business. I was like, there's seriously 17 to 25 people in here that want to help each other and want to help each other grow their businesses. Straight away, I signed up for the launch. We all know if you've launched a chapter before, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And unfortunately, we kept getting to 17 members, dropping down. We couldn't get to critical numbers of 25. So, the startup, it failed. We were told kindly, hey guys, how about you head on out, try and regroup and come back at 25 members so that we can launch you straight away. First attempt of struggle and failure. Second attempt from there is, through that process, we managed to actually build quite a good relationship with some of the people in that group. And for me, I was like, all right, well, if that works, I can create it myself. Let's start meeting on a Friday, and I got all the crew together. Soon to find out that without no structure, no process, and no accountability, it just became a breakfast club and a place to have coffee. I'd always said to our launch director, which was Katerina Dimitri, please, if there's ever an opportunity, give me a call for a real estate seat or sales seat, because it was so hard to get into an established chapter. So then came the call and the opportunity for Evergreen, which I got the call from Katerina. She said, hey Josh, I know you've been wanting to get in a chapter. I've got a chapter for you, it's in Mount Lawley, but there's 13 members, they're in a dynamic growth program, but I think it might be a foot in the door for you. Do you want to come down and see it? And I went down, I finally got the opportunity, and I saw the opportunity that I could be a part of the platform. I could use and learn and educate myself to grow, and I could add value to the chapter. And so then came the momentum shift, managing to get some of those launch people that I'd known now for a year to now come into this chapter. And that initiated start of the momentum of growth. So as you know, I've planted the seed, so now we've got to nurture it. And we've got to water it. There we go. And so we're going to water it with the first two elements I'm going to talk about today. And that's vision and attitude. Now, without vision in a chapter, there is no direction. It's almost like hopping on a plane and then trying to go to somewhere you don't know where you're going. So what I'd encourage our chapters, our members, and our leaders in our groups is to really focus on what is the vision. And for those of you that want to know the vision between goals, the difference between goals and vision, vision is what you foresee that you want something, and then the goals is implementing them and working a strategy towards how you're going to achieve those goals to drag you further or closer to that vision. And as leaders in our chapters, we really need to work through really driving that vision and goals. We need to be the energy that creates that momentum towards that vision. For us, initially it was 30 members, the hardest number to ever crack. From 30, it then grew exponentially just through the sheer momentum of energy in the room. So some actions that you can take from vision that I think are really important and something that we've implemented is we now do a vision and goals day. So every time our leadership changes over, generally the month after, we'll have a closed meeting for our chapter. And that's an opportunity for us, for our members to set their goals for the year. It's for our chapter to set some goals and a vision of where we're wanting to go, but it also allows us to set some values that we want to be known by. Yes, we have BNI core values, but BNI Evergreen has our own values that we work towards as well. We really celebrate milestones. So when we're hitting these goals that we've set, we are really celebrating them. So for example, when we hit $2 million thank you for closed business, we did a $2 million celebration party. When we hit 50, we did a platinum celebration party. And what that does is it allows the members to get on board and really enjoy the process and be grateful for all the hard work that they've put in to get there. But the biggest key element, I think, that sometimes I don't see enough is we need to be repeating that vision and goals every week. For us, we do it at the start of the meeting, we do it at our Vice President report, and the leadership are really constantly reminding the members of where we're wanting to go and how we're going to get there. And another tip on that is visitors coming into a room that can see a chapter that has goals and vision on where they go is super attractive for people to go, these are really serious about business. We want to be a part of that journey. The next core element is attitude. And I feel like this is hands down the biggest key to the health and success of your chapter. Without the right attitude in leadership, it's going to make it a very uphill battle. So as leaders in our chapter, we need to bring that positive attitude. We need to maintain that and make sure the other members are on board with that and they're really enjoying the process. So I'd really focus as leaders in your chapters, or even as a member, whether you're a first-year member, 10-year member, really have a look internally. What's my attitude towards BNI? And it's been said before in some of the presentations, BNI is a part of my business, and really understanding and allowing the members to understand that. So I touched on the positive negative mindset. Educate members on positivity. So for us, we are also always doing education slots on potential stuff that isn't BNI related. One that really stood out for me recently was about being grateful. So how to be grateful and how to have gratitude in your life. And I think that was a lot of members in the room really appreciated that. So we learnt this really quickly from the start in the first 2 years that we were trying to grow so rapidly that we were taking on anyone. And we really wanted to get to critical numbers. But what we actually learned through the process is that don't be fearful of potentially not accepting an application. Don't be fearful of potentially losing a member that doesn't see value in the chapter or value in the platform. Because what it does is it allows opportunity for the people externally from the chapter that are wanting to come in to be able to bring new energy, bring new momentum to the chapter. And that's what I feel was the pivotal changing point when I first joined Evergreen, is that you had a group of 4 to 5 people that came in, had great foundation members, but needed new energy and new drivers to get where they wanted to go. So we're going to now nurture this little seedling in here a little bit more. I'm really hoping that doesn't leak, but we'll soon see. And so, giver's mentality. I mean, we know one of our core values is giver's gain, but really instilling into our members that the giver's way is the best way. But leadership is such a massive part of giving in your chapter. And you may not be leaders in your chapter, but it's also an opportunity. You give your time, you're giving your energy, you're giving your resources. So if you have an opportunity in a leadership capacity within your chapter, really take that opportunity and commit to it 100%. Because the more people that commit to that will massively affect the direction of where the chapter's going. We all know that giving invokes the law of reciprocity. So if I give to you, well, we're told today if I give, I'm already gaining, so that's nice to know. But if I give without expectation, eventually, just like the seed's been planted, it'll grow if I nurture it, and it will come back. And teaching members from the start that you need to be patient. It's going to take time. Relationships take time. And giver's mentality is it's really the start of my journey, because I had the giver's mentality attitude. Now, my story is the first year in BNI, I'd passed 110,000 into the chapter. Now, I hadn't received anything back for the first 16 months of my membership. Now, what I most commonly see is someone in their first year, they will go, it doesn't work, BNI is not for me, and then they don't have a long-term mindset, whereas for me, I did have a long-term mindset. And when I first started, I had downward pressure from my employee. I'm now a business owner, so that's fine. And he was saying to me, why are you wasting your time going there on Tuesdays? What's the point? You're not getting anything from it. But what he didn't understand is I was getting so much from it. Public speaking, community of people, business knowledge, learning a professional etiquette. All of those things are such invisible value that I feel that can be missed sometimes from people because they're so focused on the dollars and cents. And so some actions that I really think are important is we need to set the expectation with new people coming in right off the bat. If someone's applied, they need to understand that this is a giver's platform. It's a giving environment. And if their attitude doesn't match that giving environment, you don't want to have them in your chapter, because all it's going to do down the run is cause you more stress and pain trying to change. And we know we can't change attitudes, so trying to change that is going to be really hard work. But the biggest thing that we have decided to do over the last 3 to 4 years is we give constant recognition. I mean, we find anything possible every week to try and recognise our members, recognise the accolades of our chapter, recognise the hard work of all the people that are showing up each week. And what that allows us to do is it creates a feeling of support, and people actually want to be a part of that journey. Now, accountability. We all know that accountability is actually, the traffic lights are our #1 accountability tool. And we've got them as a chapter and we've got them as members. I would really encourage our leaders in our chapters to understand how your chapter is actually scored. I'm a DC, and sometimes learning through the process, a lot of people don't even know how their chapter is scored or how they can improve. So understand that, because then what you can do through that is you can support your members. If you understand how it all works as leaders, you can then support the members. And that's what it is. It's not telling people that they're lacking in areas. It's encouraging them for the great things that they're doing, but then letting them know that they're potentially letting the side down if they're not meeting the minimum power of one requirements. And it's really not that hard to meet those requirements with the right support and the right mindset. And for us, now moving forward, straight from the get-go, our new people coming in and our current members know that we have set a Go for Green standard. That's what we expect in our chapter. And that's the minimum requirement we want. Not saying that we will treat people differently because they're down in the traffic lights, but if we set that Go for Green standard in our chapter, which we're about 85%, what that's going to do is going to allow the top half of the traffic lights to pull the bottom half up. But we do that in a supportive way. So some accountability tools that I think, when I was thinking the other day, the 7-month review we started implementing correctly about 3 to 4 years ago. And this has been a game changer for our chapter. Because what it allows us to do is it allows us to have those conversations, engage with our members, ask where they're struggling, but help them in the areas that they might be lacking, or praise them for the areas that they're not. It also really eliminates that random drop-off that you sometimes get. We've all been there before. You think a member's going really well, or they're very involved, then all of a sudden it gets to renewal, they don't renew. And what that does, it actually affects the momentum of the chapter, because people get deflated because we work so hard to grow. We work so hard to get visitors in the room. So 7 months reviews are key. Now, reporting to you, hands up if you know that if you click on your name on the traffic lights, or if you click on your chapter on the traffic lights, that gets sent out, that it will take you to a landing page on reporting to you, and it will tell you what you scored, it'll tell you the areas to improve on, and it will also tell you where you're actually forecasted to be the following month. Hands up. Wow, that's awesome. I think that's the number one accountability tool when you're sitting in front of people or working as a chapter. Clicking on that, it literally gives you everything that you need to know. And then from that, you can start setting the strategy towards how you're going to improve in those areas, just like you would with members. And then again, I'm going to repeat it over and over again, and it's quite a theme, is the accountability needs to be discussed from the interview process. Really focus on allowing that person that they're going to have to allow time. They're going to have to commit to the power of one. For us, our standard is go for green. And then sit there and explain how that works. Some people really like it, and some people might be a bit taken back by it. But eventually, if they're mentored and they're hugged enough, they generally get it. Yep, still got some water in there, so beautiful. So we're still nurturing that seed, and as you can see, there's not really too much happening there growth-wise, maybe a couple of little leaves here or there. Now the last two core elements that I'm going to discuss today are leadership. Now I just wanted to say is that leadership is an opportunity, it's not an obligation. So in your chapters, if you're taking a leadership capacity, it is a phenomenal opportunity. An opportunity that's led me to now be speaking in front of you today, 5 years later, with not even knowing what BNI was 5 years ago. It's an opportunity for you to show up and bring the energy to help others, create that amazing culture, and help other businesses thrive. It's something that really needs to be taken seriously. And something that we've learned along the way is understanding that we all have strengths in different areas. Those strengths we want to work towards. So for us, we started thinking about 6 months prior to the changeover is who's strong in certain areas and who can we put in roles that they're going to really flourish and really add value to the chapter. Because some people just aren't meant for certain leadership roles, and that's okay, but they can potentially help in other areas. So key actions that we've started, and we started it about 3 years ago when myself and Anthony Cullen, who was also a massive driver of where Evergreen is today, we started thinking, well, we can't be in leadership forever. What's the succession plan look like? Who is going to be next? And then making sure that the strategies and processes in the chapter were set so that somebody could come in and start driving that and continue the momentum. We as leaders, we do set the standard, and we've also created a bit of a chapter tradition, and we know that traditions in innovation is one of the core values of BNI. For us, we organise a celebration party. So once our leadership term is over, we will celebrate the leadership team that were there for that year and then the ones coming in. So that allows a culture of people wanting to actually be there and want to be in leadership and feeling supported. So culture's talked about a lot through BNI, and you'll hear people go, our chapter's got a great culture. But I just wanted to let you know that culture is a journey, it's not a destination, and it takes time. For us, we're 5 years into our growth journey, and we're still fine-tuning what that looks like. We've had such massive growth that now we're trying to learn, how do we work with so many people in a room? How do we keep those members engaged? How do we keep retention up? But what we do well, and that's encourage collaboration. We need to have a collaborative mindset in BNI. We need to have a growth mindset and not a fixed. And for us, we've been really focusing on how can we let our members know they don't have to feel like there's a scarcity of opportunity. How can we change them into an abundant form of mindset so that they can collaborate together and work with each other on clients? Because some people sometimes get a bit upset with the whole category thing. And I know it's a very amazing and unique thing that BNI offers, but understanding that everyone can work together and there is so much business out there. We encourage the members to work through and understand and really appreciate the BNI core values, along with our own values that we set. And then I've said it before, positive and constant recognition all the time. So for us, for an example, if a new member was to start in our chapter and they're green within their first or second month, we will make sure that we recognise them in the meeting. And what that's doing is setting a standard of that go for green, but it's creating people to feel inclusive and wanting to be a part of the team. So, I said before from our vision day, really try the closed chapter meeting one time and really go around to your members and go, what are the values that you want to set for our chapter? You know, what do you want our chapter to be known by? And to be honest, the way that you're going to find out whether you have good culture is more when the visitors are coming in the room. When the visitors are coming in, they feel included, they're looked after, they can see people are really actually helping each other, business is getting passed, there's good energy in the room. That is going to create incredible opportunities for conversion when visitors are coming in the room, if the culture is right. If the culture is cold and negative, nobody's going to want to be a part of that. And what we've started to do more on a regular basis is we've started to really ramp up our social events and making them more constant. It's allowing our members opportunity to be able to meet externally in a non-business environment, be a little bit more relaxed, for people to let their hair down, and to get to know each other on a more personal level, because we know that that will build relationships, and through that, that'll build trust, and then through that people will want to do more business with each other and help each other. So in year 5, should be back in a sec. Now I hope everyone has a great imagination. So I didn't have the special effects team ready for this part. But in year 5, in 6 short weeks, the bamboo tree grows 30 metres, so 80 feet. So the question is, did the Chinese bamboo tree really grow 30 metres in 6 weeks? Did it lie dormant for 4 years only to grow exponentially in the 5th? The little tree was growing underground, developing a root system and a stable base strong enough to support its potential for outward growth in the 5th year and beyond. So our story is very much like this, and you can sort of see the first picture would probably be when we were members. There was some foundation there, but it needed some work. So if the tree had not developed a strong, unseen foundation, it could have not sustained its life as it grew. And you'll understand, as I was watering, that was building the foundations, the root system. And I think that's important for us in our chapters, is to really set the foundations. And we can do that by vision. I've just gone blank. Vision. Culture, leadership, accountability, giver's mentality, and attitude. Got it. We've got to have fun with it. So for me, this is our story, Evergreen. This is 2019, 19 members, constant battling up and down to try and break 30. A lot of time and energy spent, but really had a phenomenal team of people that wanted to get on board the vision. So this is us now. And I'm incredibly proud of this, and today when we did manage to take out #1 chapter, it was such a crazy moment for me to stand up there and people are trying to pile on the stage and there's just more and more people coming. And I'm really grateful to have had the opportunity to help be a part of that growth. So how big will your bamboo tree grow, and what is going to be your BNI story? Now, in your bags, there is a little gift from me. It's either veggies or flowers. And there's a little cup here and it says, how will you choose to water your seed? So I just wanted to leave you with that. I'd love to connect. You can scan the code and connect with me on LinkedIn, and let's grow together.